Yo, what's going on, Talk Nice Nation?
What's good?
And thank you for checking out today's episode.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Make sure you visit our website, TTMNbrand.com, where you'll find all upcoming announcements, our latest clothing drops, and future events.
Yes, sir. And also, for anyone interested in collabs or potential sponsors, hit our email at ttmnbrand@gmail.com.
That's right.
Let's get it.
Talk to me now, show you what they really about. Hey, talk to me now, show you what they really about. Hey, talk to me now, show you what they really about.
Yo. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Me Nice podcast. As always, you should know by now, I'm Rob.
And I'm Cristiano.
What's going on, guys? Good to be back. Episode 4. Got a special guest in the building today.
Yeah,
this is
first for us. Drum roll.
This is drum roll. Me doing the drum roll. Miss Maura, L.A. Maura. I don't even know what to really call her, but you know,
man.
she's in the building. Our first female guest.
Yep. Big
Just took the trip from L.A., flew out to Philly for a couple of days, squeezed us into her very busy schedule, so we appreciate you making time to jump on this season.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Duh, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
How are you, like, on East Coast time yet, or did it take? Or, nah,
I'm on my time.
You're just on your time.
Yeah.
How was
Best
that?
time to be on.
So today is Sunday.
Yes.
You got here on Thursday.
Yep, Thursday morning,
Okay.
touchdown.
How was it? How's it been?
Pretty much seeing all my favorite people.
You miss it?
I do miss it. There's talk about a comeback. COVID's thrown a wrench in things, but we'll see.
What's going on COVID-wise in L.A.? Because me and Cristiano had a trip in Los Angeles in August that we had to cancel.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I heard things are kind of strict.
It's weird out there.
Yeah.
And, like, expensive still. So, like, it's weird and expensive, whereas usually it's just expensive. So now it's, like, tricky.
So you're going to be flying back home tomorrow,
Yep,
right?
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Damn. I can't believe I've never been to California, bro. I was pissed. I had to cancel
Wait,
We'll go.
that flight.
Never?
Don't give me shit. Don't give me shit. Nah.
What do you mean?
It was going to be the first time this past summer, you know, but I got flight credits. American Airline looked
That's
out.
what I just flew.
So we're
American still
Yeah.
has you sitting like full flight,
As far as, what do you mean?
like COVID. Like,
Oh, yeah, really?
yeah.
Well,
All right,
we're going to do it. You know what I mean? We're going to do it soon. But for all of our listeners that don't know who you are, why don't you,
educate them.
educate them?
Who is this Miss Maura? Who is this pink hair lady?
Pink
Yeah.
hair lady. Okay, well, I do a lot of things. I just started my podcast. It's called Tap In. And I
Congratulations.
also,
Lit.
thank you. And I also started a brand like probably last summer, actually. It's called The Fairy Garden. And it's just like, it's basically like my brain in the world. So it's like apparel, and I have like mindset coaching on there. It's just about like looking at things through eyes that see the glass half full, and like understanding that everything was impossible until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. I
So
like that. That's true.
impossible is not real. That's like on a lot of the gear that I have so far. But it's really just like you are what you eat in a sense, and like I don't just mean like what you like are digesting. Like I'm talking like you're who you're around, you're who you associate with,
Yeah,
and like
your
you are
habits,
what you wear
different-
and what you
your
read
thoughts.
and what you listen to. So it's like you
Consume,
might as well make all of that like good shit. So I just didn't really find that out there, so I
Yeah.
was like, I'll just make it.
The Fairy Garden.
Yeah.
And
It
that's
was such a weird name, but like I didn't pick it. Like not to be like that and be like it picked me, but
It
like
picks you.
low key kind of did.
kind of just
Like
thought.
how? What do you mean?
Well, when I first moved to LA, there was this woman that I met, and she's like older. Her name is Jude, and her and I just clicked like instantly. She's probably like at least 65, I think. She's from Australia. And we became really good friends, and she would always do like every full moon. She would host like a full moon meditation hike. So we would hike up into the mountains in Topanga, which is like off the PCH in Malibu. And she would like lead a guided meditation and pull tarot cards. And I'm a lot of times the younger one in the group of the people who go. But we pulled, the one time that I went, I had like these big sunglasses on, like all this sparkly shit. And they were all like, where did you get that? Where did you get that? And I started telling them, they were like, you just go get it and then sell it to us and whatever. And the woman Jude is like, all of that would be perfect for a fairy garden. I'm like, what is a fairy garden? She's like, you basically live in your own fairy garden. And I was like, what is that? And she's like...
I saw her wearing all that sparkly stuff,
she's
looking like a fairy.
And then that's it.
She's like, it's like a place that... I didn't know that this was a real thing. But basically, when you meditate and things like that, a lot of times people create fairy gardens next to their like meditation spaces as like an invitation for like creativity and like just magic, basically. So... she's like, you live in your own fairy garden, like basically La La Land, which is kind of true. Like I just live in my own world. Half the time I don't know what's going on elsewhere, which is like a good thing, but not at the same time. Yeah. But after that, I was like, oh, like I'll just call the shop the fairy garden. And then like later that day, we pulled tarot cards, and the card I pulled was the fairy card. And I was like, all right, bet.
It's just meant.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never big into fairies, but I'm like, it just is what it is.
Sounds like a slap, though. Like the mountain, like
going
up
so
there
fun
with the moon and like doing meditation. That sounds like like such
it's
a peaceful
like
thing.
Once a month, you know, basically.
So
and it's just like a nice way to like reboot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like set your intention for the next month. And
I love that.
Yeah.
So for all you listeners out there who are just got done listening to that quick 5 minutes, Maura was talking, you know where this episode is headed.
Yeah.
You should understand that this is on some...
to infinity and beyond.
This is on some very different intellectual, talk going on.
It's different.
Yeah. I feel like that's in a good way, though. Some people don't understand. They get a little confused when people talk. Like, I know... we listened to the Joe Rogan Kanye West episode, and people are like, yo, Kanye West, like when he talks, it's just, I can't keep up with him. I don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. The guy could definitely be all over the place.
Yeah.
But I feel like once, you really just figure out like what you're about to get into right now. Like Kanye's just, he's years ahead of himself.
Right.
He really is.
And he thinks, like he said, it's like three-dimensional. It's so deep, and there's so many layers to like what he says. And sometimes the average listener only gets the first layer because they never experienced layer 2 or 3 yet in their lives. So then they're gonna look at it and be like, this guy's maybe a little nuts.
You only know what you've been taught, and so many of us have been taught like just the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's like, you wake up, you go to work, you complain about work, you go
live
home
for the weekends. You
can't
you
get fucked up.
Can't wait for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, it's just like that. Pause.
Monday comes back. Yeah.
There's so much more.
Like, why can't your Mondays be as great as your weekends?
Yeah, I don't even half the time know.
You mean to tell me that you really want to live a life where you get excited for 2 off days out of the 7-day week?
Right, like
it's
just do something during the 5 other days that you like to do.
Yeah.
But it's like security wise, that's like doesn't always seem like an option.
Right.
So
I get the stability things that people look for, and I respect it, and do you, like, definitely. But I'm just heavy on doing what you love.
And it'll come.
Be stable, definitely, and get your money. But create the time to do other things with your life. Like, you see people who like work 9 to 5s or real early jobs, but they wake up super early to go to the gym. They make sure look, if I want to get results, if I want to look different, I'm gonna wake up early as shit right before my job. and you just make it happen. You know, whether or maybe even a side business. You know, come home from work and then just start working on other stuff. I mean, it's really just how you treat your time. We all have the same time. We all, that's the one thing we all have in common.
Yeah, everyone has 24 hours.
You can't just work for somebody else the whole time. At least give yourself a little bit to work for yourself.
Right.
Absolutely.
Big Sean talks about that a lot, like being your own boss. And he's like, you know, you can still like go work for a corporation or whatever the case may be, but like you have X amount of time in a day, and like let's just say that 8 hours of that is dedicated to your 9 to 5, and we'll say 10 hours like between commuting even.
Yeah.
That still leaves you 14 hours. If you like subtract like 7-8 hours for sleep, like you still have a shit ton of time to like do whatever. Like you don't have to just like watch Netflix or like play Xbox, which there's nothing wrong with those things, but like in dosage.
Yeah.
Like what else would you be doing? Like if
Would you
time and
rather-
money didn't matter,
Yeah.
what would you be doing?
Would you rather submerge yourself in like, you know, smoking weed all day and like playing Xbox all day or things like that? That's not going to give you a return of what you're putting into it, or would you rather just dive into something that you truly like and enjoy?
It's like, but
and maybe
it's not
something-
even a thought sometimes.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
Like it's to some people, it's like they don't even think about like more because it's like, oh well, this is chilling, and it's like, okay, but like what's more than chilling?
Comfortable.
You know
People
what I
get
mean?
too comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of want to ask you next. Like, you know, you're living in Los Angeles right now. You're not from there. You're not, you know, born in LA. So how did that move come about?
So I moved there like 3 years ago. Wait, 3 years ago tomorrow, actually.
Wow. The anniversary.
I went to Temple, and I like didn't want to be in college, but my mom, like education is huge for her, so she was like, please finish. So I was like, all right, I'll finish, but when I'm done, I want to go to hair school in LA. And I used to be like, I want to do famous people's hair, da 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 da, and then everyone would be like, okay, Maura, sit back down,
Right.
calm down.
Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I finished school. I had like a hot girl summer before hot girl summer existed. And then that October, I just booked a one-way, well, that September, I think, I booked a one-way ticket to leave in October. And I went to Vidal Sassoon out there. There's only one in the country. It's like, it used to be like the best cosmetology school to go to. So I was like, all right, well, it's $20K to go to a hair school in Philly. It's like $23 to go in LA, so I'm out.
Right.
I'm like, I want to just be like where that industry is like
Yeah.
the
Booming.
part that I want to be in, you know?
Yeah.
Like I love hair in general, but like
I'm sure.
like session work and
wanna be on
styling.
set.
Yeah,
You want to meet
exactly.
like people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you want that exciting, more exciting life instead of people just coming in the chair rotation here, talk about your problems, you know, in your town or whatever.
Right.
You
Well, it was
be,
cool
you know-
though, because like in school, I would always get like the coolest clients. Like they would all be on some shit too. Like I would be like my classmates would always be like, "How do you get these clients?" I'm like, "Dude, you
Just
get what you
attract
are."
them. Yeah,
Like
you just attract
you know
them.
what I mean? Like I'm
You
like,
know?
you guys wouldn't even know what to say to them because you'd be like, they're weird, but really they're not weird. It's just they're thinking differently.
It's I mean, it's what you've been attracting. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
already started this. This whole manifesting thing seems like it started from a long time ago.
Oh, it's
So, like,
been-
I'm sure you manifested, you know, some stuff of being on set. Like, what
For
sets
sure.
have you been on since you've been doing it?
Well, like just real quick, my favorite manifestation story from like the beginning of my time in LA was I guess like maybe like a year and some change before moving there. My friend at the time and we like went out to look at the school because like I said, I live in like La La Land in my mind. So I could have gone to that school and it could have been a complete shithole. And I would have been like, this is it. I love it. It's great. So I was like, can you come with me and tell me if this is cool? So she went with me. It was our first time in LA and we checked out the school. And after we went there, we were like driving down like Ocean Avenue. I was like, can we pull over and like talk about like the tour we just had basically?
Yeah.
So we pull over on the street and I'm like, dude, we're moving here. We will live here. Like, give me a year. Fast forward, like 15 months later, I go out there. I'm living on like my aunt's friend's couch for like a month. And I finally find this apartment. And I call my friend. I'm like, all right, come. I got us a spot. Like,
At the time, were you working?
no, I was in school.
You were in school.
So I'm like, come out here. I got us a spot. She comes out. And I didn't have a car at the time either. So once she got out there, we bought bikes and we like drove from our apartment straight down the street to the beach. And it was the same street that we pulled over on
Pulled over, yeah.
the year before. So I was like, wait
How
a
crazy
second.
is that? Yeah.
I was like, pulled over here. Like, I have no idea where we are right now. And this is crazy. So that was like the first time where I like just cried because I'm like, my mind like just put us right here. Like, it was just weird. But so you asked what sets I've been on. I work with like Dr. Pimple Popper a lot, which I had no idea about that show until I worked on the
That's what you
show.
were, yeah.
And
That show's wild.
she's like
That's the most-
amazing. She's like the coolest. Everything you think that she would be, like she is and better. I've been on like a Meghan Trainor shoot. I did a Vic Menza video. All times where I'm just like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, this is so cool. But I work for like different magazines out there sometimes,
Yeah.
different brands
So
like
how-
Talentless.
How are you kind of getting these jobs? And do you have like an agency that you work with, or
No.
somebody who books anything like
I
this?
work under my mentor. His name is Bradley Leak. He's good at like making connections, and then I also like could literally like talk to this wall here. So I make connections while I'm on set, and then
Right.
they will be like, oh, we have this going on or that going on, and then they link us.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I
Connections,
just end up
networking.
on somewhere.
Relationships. Is the
Relationships.
best currency. I mean,
Yeah, it's just nice to like talk to people and get to know people, and then you just end up in places where you're like, wait.
Relationships really are the best currency.
it's the best. Relationships, time. I don't even know where money is on that, but it's lower than all those.
Yeah,
You know what I
people
mean?
don't think that though.
I know.
A lot of people want to be like, self-made and say everything they've gotten or done in their life, has all been through themselves. And I mean, we're in 2020.
True.
Like, that doesn't. There's had to been somebody who helped you out one way or
of
another,
course.
even if it was in
Yeah.
the slightest way, from a recommendation.
Well, that goes back to
So-
like the creating over competing. Like
Mm-hmm.
people, that's such an ego-driven thing to be like, I'm self-made.
From the ground up. This
Like
and that.
I did this. It's like, okay, I'm sure someone like
I'm sure you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah,
But I'm also sure
1,000%.
that you might have met somebody down the line, or somebody
Well,
might have
and-
put a word in for you. Or,
yeah.
You have to now, like you said. Like,
Why would you
have
not
to
even?
now.
Yeah, like, put your pride aside, and why would you even not?
It's awesome to
wanna
like make
connect.
those connections, and like it says I think a lot about you as a person when you have an easy time like creating like maybe not friendships but at least connections. Like I mean being just all about yourself is like it's cool,
It's not even fun.
but like
It's
not
even
really. It's
fun.
boring. Yeah, like you. It's better to have like a team
Yeah.
with you.
It's fun having a team. It's better having a team. It's fun meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
But that hoodie, though, I see that you're rocking, that you just
This
mentioned.
is my favorite.
It says create over compete. What does that mean to you?
Okay, well, I feel like you both have listened to it. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. He talks about like how he talks about like success and like what is success. And he talks a lot about success is like fulfilling whatever goal you put. So everyone can reach their level of success because everyone's level
Success
of
is
success is
different.
different.
Right.
Yeah. And he talks a lot about how a lot of people basically get fucked up because they think that like, oh, well, Rob drives a Mozzie and
I drive
How
a
did-
Honda, or like, how do I get
yeah,
a
like how
Mazda?
did I get like that? So then they start doing things just to get what you have. And it's like, well, that was your goal. Like you can't take other people's goals necessarily. Like, you got to figure out exactly what you want and then work towards that. So, like, he talks a lot about, like, how people get caught up in the rat race of, like, trying to get what other people have or, like, trying to be like other people. And I'm trying to think of the word.
It's a constant battle every single day with your own self.
Well, you can create.
That's what it has
you
to
can
be. It has
you
to
can
be.
compete with yourself and like
That's all it has
your
to be.
lower vibration self. But like, don't worry about other people because like what's meant for you will be yours.
And that holds people back a lot.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Worrying about others.
Yeah.
And he talks about conformity. He says that there's like there's courage, and like a lot of time people think that the opposite of courageousness is cowardness, but really it's conformity. And you don't have to conform to anything, like you just have to create.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there is no competition if you're creating. So I used to listen to that like damn near every day for like a year. And I was like, wait, he's basically saying like create over compete.
Always.
So then I got it tatted, and then I was like, wait, let's
got it
put this
tatted? Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Nice.
Like almost 2 years ago now. It's on the back of my legs. And then I was like, no, this is like such a good one. Like people just want things that aren't theirs. When it's like, if you just figure out what you want, you can get that. No one even knows what they want.
I fully support the create over compete. I'm fully, try to embody that.
Yeah, you talked about it on that episode with,
Liam, not your music?
yeah.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You basically said it. While I was listening,
Yeah.
I was like, Rob knows.
I'm even like on another, like I'll take that to another step. And I'm big on, especially in like a content-driven world where things that we do require putting out pieces of content, whether it's audio, video, podcasting, clothing, etc. Documenting over creation.
Document
over create.
Okay.
And the reason is because creatives are great. We're all creatives, right? But sometimes I feel like people kind of force themselves to be even more creative or maybe perfect the creativity of it. And in certain things that we do, whether we're doing a podcast or how to do hair or like how do I get like this, I'm heavy into documenting things. I like people to see, the behind the scenes or what it takes to become a hairstylist, what it takes to make a podcast, what does it take to make a track, a music, what does it take to sell a house, to be a realtor, right? A lot of people go on Instagram, they see the finished product. That's all Instagram is. It's a showcase of what you want people to see.
Yeah.
I want to change that narrative and things that I'm doing and that we do, and I want to show people like how we're doing it, what we're exactly doing, and then the final product. I don't want to just give you the final piece every single time. So whether that's going live, we're doing a video, instead of just typing something out. That's just how I feel. That's how I'm trying to come.
Right.
And I got that from Gary Vee. So Gary Vee, and that really just sat well with me the one day. And I was like, it's nice to see that.
It is nice to see because people, you're like
you're giving people the chance to
like,
check it out and see, and then it gives them a better understanding of, oh, maybe I could do this myself. You just showed me what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of me looking at the final product.
If I made a hoodie and you love it and it looks so great,
and
I appreciate that, but you don't see like behind like what's really going on. Like we tried to work with multiple different people, things didn't work out. We tried to make a design, we didn't like it. We were things like that.
Colors.
So.
And then that is not competing in itself. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm heavy on that.
You're all
well,
trying to
and
help.
it's just nice. I feel like that goes back to like it kind of. I think this is what you're saying. It's just being transparent about the process, and I think there's like a lot of power in transparency.
Because I like the process.
Yeah, the process is the power. There's power in the process. The sticker that you guys just gave me, like this is like the treat.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this took you. How'd you guys make it? You know what I mean? It's like, it seems simple, but like, it's not.
Yeah. Everybody wants to wake up one day with millions of dollars in their bank account and be able to take their flights and do all that kind of stuff. And
that'll come.
And that's fine. That's cool. Listen, don't get me wrong. Like that's probably fucking awesome, right? That's definitely awesome.
Of course.
and people should be rewarded. I like when people are just rewarded.
Right.
I think everything just has to be off for performance based.
Yeah.
I think all jobs should be that
Actually,
way.
I like that
I don't
too.
think like hourly wages or salaries should exist. I think whoever fucking crushes it and kills it and does the best work should be paid respectfully to what they deserve. You know, that's just how I feel.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think a lot of
sense.
people become entitled. I think a lot of people become stagnant when they're in an hourly, like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
here's Monday, and I know what my check's gonna look like on Friday,
Right.
so I could be in this gear the entire week.
Cruise control.
But you know what? Maybe it's fucking Monday, and I want to go crazy. I want to go OD. I want to
Yeah.
really fucking kill it, and I want to kill it on Tuesday. I want to kill it on Wednesday and Thursday. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to have a higher ceiling. People put themselves.
Yeah, well, especially
box.
if they're not working for themselves, you know, they'll learn. They're smart. People are smart. They'll know how to get by doing the bare minimum at work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're still going to get paid like the guy in the next cubicle who's probably crushing it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, that just goes back to trading your time for money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like
Yup.
that. That's that whole conformity thing, though. That's what we've been taught. That's life. You know, you get a job, you go punch the time clock, and you get paid.
Yes.
And it's like, no.
So you started off earlier in the show. She was, mentioning starting a podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Tap In. I'm sure you can find it on Spotify, Apple,
Yeah.
all the major platforms.
I think on the apps it's called Tap In the Podcast.
Yeah.
But yes.
Tap In the podcast. What made you want to jump into the world of podcasting?
I'm just like trying to like expand people's minds and like open hearts to like all of the goodness that's out there. I feel like there's so much like negativity and it's so second nature to everyone. And like people will be like, you're like unrealistic, you're too optimistic. And I'm like, am I living in a dumpster like on Arch Street? Like, no? Okay, so why are you like coming at me that I'm too positive? Like that doesn't
Yeah.
make
Right.
sense. Like if it wasn't working for
Right.
me, I would hear you out. But like
Yeah.
I
Would
feel
you
like
rather be positive or negative?
Yeah,
come
like-
on.
but people don't even recognize like their like belief systems or like the way that they treat others or like even themselves as being negative. So it's like I started the podcast really just to like try and give different perspectives.
Right.
Like on the brighter side of things and like introduce topics that are like what?
Right.
You know?
I'm sure it feels good for you. I'm sure it feels good for you too. Being able to express things in a different space.
Yeah.
Talking about it, like talking
It's
about
harder than I thought. Like I don't know. I'm like, you guys are so lucky that there's two of you. Imagine just talking to yourself. That's what I've
it.
been
I know.
doing.
I have so much.
Well, you keep doing it, repetition.
I
Repetition.
It's going
know.
to get
It'll
better
It'll
at
get
it.
easier.
you
Well,
know?
it's good to see though. The podcast world is great. It's growing. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
No.
There's so many people having such big success within the industry of podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like podcast is in like a weird crossroad where you have the one road, people just don't get it. They open up their phone, they listen to music, and they do that. And then you have another road where people are listening, or even if they're not full-time podcast listeners, like they'll still like check out episodes frequently here and there, whether they're in their car
Maybe
ride
they
or
want
at
to
the
take
gym.
a break from the music the one day because they've been doing it like a couple of days in a
Yeah.
row, and now let's hear something.
I'm newly, into listening to podcasts myself, probably within the past couple of years,
For sure.
And I admit, like, it wasn't something I would always be like, okay, I'm going to sit here for this full hour or whatever and
Right.
listen to this entire episode. I would just pick back up from where I left
Right.
off. But it's like any other media, people turn their TV on when they get home.
Yep.
Or people are in their car listening to the same song over and over. And I'm like, you know what?
Exactly.
Why not when I'm at the gym, or why not when I'm driving around, I have like a long trip or whatever, listen to something that's going to educate myself, where I can learn different sides of things.
That goes back
like
to
reading
like
a book.
consuming.
It's basically
like you're picking like
what I'm
you could
consuming.
listen to like I'm not even gonna say any rapper type name, but like
The
you
same
could
old
listen to like
songs.
Bottles in the Club, twerking and whatever else on repeat for an hour, or you could like learn something.
And I love all that. I love all the
yeah,
twerking
it's
in the
great.
club shit.
Yeah, we love that.
But-
But
Sometimes
in
you
moderation.
In moderation.
You gotta like it. I sometimes I'll be making myself make myself listen to a podcast. I'm like annoyed while it's happening, but then at the end of it, I'm like, all right, that was lit.
When you
So
find-
got some takeaways, you know what I mean?
yeah.
When you find somebody that just sticks with you, it's like, all right, I'm gonna come back and keep listening to
Yeah.
their shit. Joe Rogan, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, as far as real estate,
Yeah.
like all crazy good gems. Even fucking Call Her Daddy. Like I literally like recently just started listening to some of their shit. I guess because I follow some of the Barstool stuff, and
Right.
you know, like Stool Presidente, Dave Portnoy, you know, he's all over the place, and he's a fucking genius, bro. He really is. Like from day trading to podcasting, he's all over the place.
Right.
So I don't think he would do anything that didn't make sense.
Right.
So when he gave these girls, you know, the podcast a try, I'm like, all right, maybe there's something here. Like, let me, you know, maybe it's not all about sex and the fucking stereotypical
Yeah.
things people talk about. And I actually listened to one of their episodes, well, a few of them, but the girl who does the show, the host, Alex Cooper, she's
Alex,
honestly very educated. I didn't know that she was recording and editing her own episodes. Like, she's like on her shit, you know, the whole layout of the episode, you know, she like pre-records her sponsors, and then it flows into the episode, and then this, and this, and then the topics are crazy, and it's not just like all people might think, oh, they just jump on the mic, and they just free for all it. No, it's like well put together for a reason.
She does a good job on the editing too. Like always keeps it free flowing. It doesn't make like any dead space. You know? And it's entertaining. I have to give it to her. You know, it's entertaining.
It is entertaining.
She does a good job. I love the way she does the sponsors.
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem like you're.
It's not scripted.
For a second, I was like, wait, what? Like I had to do a double take. Like she's actually flowing the sponsor in the conversation with the guest, and then like was so smooth.
So good. Yeah. So podcasting is definitely a world and a space that's going to just continue to grow.
Right.
You know, I think people they're either open-minded to it or they just, you know, they're not.
I mean, music is great. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes you just have to be like, all right, come on.
Right.
Let me learn something today.
I was talking to, you know, Cristiano probably like one day last week, and we were just having, you know, this whole month has been crazy busy for us.
I'm fucking
a lot's going
I'm busy.
on.
Like
and I had a really good day. This one day I was on the phone with Chris, and I'm called him, and I'm just like, you know, when I'm just like in that fucking zone, like I'm just in the mood, like everything's rolling well and things are looking right. I'm like, I feel like I'm living in the future version of myself.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Currently right now. I'm 28 years old, but I feel like I'm moving like I'm 30, like I'm 32. Like I feel like I'm mentally like in my place. I'm already at this.
Like where he wants to be then, right?
Where I know I'm
amazing.
going to be at, where I know that I'm going to be at, like mentally and how I'm moving and doing things and like making certain sacrifices and dedicating time to different things. I'm already years ahead of what I'm doing right now. Mentally.
Right. Because nobody said, like, you know, you can't be there physically, whether it's going to be good or bad, but nobody said you can't be there mentally. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like
It's
You can
so
definitely
weird.
tap
It's
into your future
Yeah,
self.
It's so
literally.
weird, but it's literally just like how, and I'll see other people too. Not just I see a lot of people. Like I'm friends with like my one boy EJ, who does this
fitness. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you probably
I've
saw
seen
him on an episode we've had. He is
Locked.
He is locked the fuck in. He works at a hospital at Penn every day, and then he comes home and then he works out. He trains people. And it's just a constant lifestyle that does never end. It doesn't matter if it's Sunday or Saturday or what event's going on, and if it's not on his agenda, his schedule, he's not, you know, falling off of his pivot. And I kind of like try emulating, like, you know, because that's like my boy. Like I talk to him a lot, and it's just like, you know, and you as well. You know, you're locked. And we're all trying to be locked, right? And I'm just like, wow, you know, it's like, it's very. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just very attainable to carry yourself years later, years down the line than where you currently are on this earth. Like
You have to.
It's wild. It really
That's
is
the only
wild.
way you get there.
Yeah.
And that adds to the manifestation of what you want. You know, you got to, you know, when you manifest something, you're supposed to
Act as if. It's already
visualize
is.
it that it's already happening. And that's manifestation. That's
like
the
people
ingredients.
always be like, I want X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, okay. You
Want
have to
for
understand
a
there's
second.
like different vibrations to things. Like there's different frequencies that are carried by thoughts or emotions. And when you want something, it's putting it in a place that's away from you.
Yeah, saying that you don't have it.
Yeah. So that's a lack. So it's like, obviously, I'm not saying like walk around like I have $1 million, but it's just like move as if you did.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go to wherever like and drop, you know,
All this money
30K on a
on things.
bag
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't do that. But like, just act as if like
Exactly.
and keep handling your business. Keep showing up where you said you'll show up.
Yeah.
Like things like that.
Me and Cristiano are going to book a trip, right? We're going to Miami. You know, we've been to Miami. You know, he goes there pretty often. I love it out there. I don't know what it is, but I feel like just at home, like when I'm out in Miami. But yeah, you know, we spoke, and I feel like a lot of people can see this. But when you go to Miami, whether you're there, you know, for traveling, vacation, or just, you know, living out there, I feel like there's just one of two ways you could go and you could carry yourself. You're either going to be on vacation time and vacay mode, and you're going to be at the pool drinking whatever the fuck it is you want to do, or you're going to be getting after it and you're going to be productive still being down there, whether it's vacation or however you want to look at it. You know, I don't want to look at things like vacation, right? Like, even though I'm traveling and I'm leaving Philly and I'm going somewhere, maybe if you go to a resort, I get it. You're at a resort, right? You're chilling there. But I mean, when you go to, like, if I were to go to LA, if I were to go to Vegas or, you know, Miami, every time I go out there, I want things to be very productive. I still want to go to the gym when I'm down there. I still want to soak up as much as I can. I want to leave
Yeah, like,
there.
feel
with,
the culture.
I want
of
to
that.
leave there with like a fire and a motivation, like a match is lit, you know. And that's how I feel every time I come home. I was at a bachelor party for my boy, you know, last December, and it was awesome. We did everything. But I just caught myself like sitting on a boat in Fort Lauderdale the one day, you know, and everybody's turning up and partying. It was great. And I'm just soaking things in. I'm just like looking around me, like looking at all the boats and the houses, and like I'm like, this is like obtainable. This could very well be done.
Yeah, and that's
you know, and
thing.
I'm just like,
Like code.
I'm just always trying to treat things in that mode. You know, especially when you go to like, you know, Miami or different market cities. You know, Cristiano was saying this the one time, like, there's always eyes on you. You know, if you go there for business, or if you go there for like a business trip, whether it's, you know, an event, music, anything, hair, whatever it is you're doing, you're there. You know, people are watching you. You know, so you're vulnerable. You could very well be in a space where you're going to let loose, and that person's going to come out of you, and you're going to be drunk and turning up and sloppy and all that kind of stuff. But you're under a microscope. You're in somebody else's home turf. You know, and it's just what version of you is going to come out. You know, and I just want to be on my toes. I want to be on my game.
Ed Milet, do you know? Have you ever heard of Ed Milet? He's kind of like in the same vicinity as like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about like before he was like a millionaire, and before he has written books and spoken at like conferences and whatever. He talks about when he and his wife didn't have the amount of money that they had now, but they would have like months in their business where they would have an extra 5, 10, 15,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, we would take trips. And when they would take the trips, they would stay at the best hotel. They would rent the best car. They would tip everyone like the most
Great.
money that they could tip. And it's like about putting yourself in that place of like, maybe that wasn't his everyday, but like during those times that he would take
That
a
he was
trip,
there.
Living it.
he
like
was
it is.
living it,
To that
because it's
extent.
like you can't.
You get a feel for that.
Yeah, you
life
understand
almost.
how that
You
feels.
still got to act like, you know, when you get to
Been
that
there.
point, you still got to act like it. Or even more. Like this case, it seems like he still wants.
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Because there's
now he
always
has,
another
like,
level. There's never
tons
really
of
a
houses
ceiling.
and things like that. But before, like, he's he's like, yeah, I would rent that car. Like, how else would I know
what a
that
Lambo
car
feels like? How am I going to say,
Yeah.
let me buy a Lamborghini? I'm going to
Exactly.
buy a Lamborghini one
And
day.
you never even
Did
been
you ever
in
drive?
one.
You know, like at least when you get the feeling, like
Yep.
you're holding the wheel and like you feel.
Yeah, and
the
like
pedal
when
and
you're
how
in
fast it-
those positions, like being
you can
present.
visualize it and you can make it happen even more.
Yep.
Yeah.
That you live through it. There was a moment of your life where you actually were, driving a yacht or driving a Lamborghini or at an event right next, sharing the same space with like an A-list artist or
Yeah.
somebody who's at that point where you want to get your future self to. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel
December's
it. I see it
That's
on your
like
face.
a
You're
couple-
feeling it.
It's like a couple weeks ago, my friend was out in LA and he like rented, I think a Mozzie, and like we're like internet friends. But I was like hitting him up, like, come pick me up. Like, how else am I supposed to know if I want a Lambo or a Mozzie if I
Right.
never been in a Mozzie?
Right.
Like, and he's like, all right, I'll come get you. And he's like, here's the keys.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to tap in real quick and just recognize where I'm at, how I'm feeling,
Yeah.
how's this car drive, you know?
I'm sure if I was in Los Angeles and other parts, I would feel how I feel about Miami, But it's just when I go to Miami, and it's not even like South Beach. It could be like Wynwood. It could be other areas, Brickell, like nice areas. But I don't know. Like I'll carry myself in Philadelphia, where I live now, doing things that I would do in Miami if I lived there already. I just know that people aren't moving that way and carry themselves. Like a lot of people are stuck within a bubble, right? Like whether you're in South Philly, North Philly, whatever. People are just doing people aren't really like riding bikes with their shirts off. People aren't like roller skating or doing whatever. I go to fucking South Beach. Girls are rollerblading. All right, people are doing whatever, working out on the beach. They're not just like tanning on the beach, right? It's like infectious being around different people. And a lot of people out there they're not from there. They move there
Yeah.
to get after something that
It's
they're
an
chasing.
international city.
That's how it is with LA.
So it's
too.
just it's infectious. You're around people
Big
who are just
money.
all chasing things,
Yeah.
big money,
Yeah.
money being spent, big
You're
money
around,
being
like,
made,
artists, creatives,
Creatives.
entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's just I get like a burning rush
high.
inside of me,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, this feels so fucking good. Like I'm not even saying like life is about material things, but it's just like being around people, like good-looking guys, good-looking girls, like everybody's like working on different things
Right.
in their own field,
Yeah.
and you're just surrounded by a lot of elite people and elite things in
Well, and
life, and
people
it's
like look like glow different when they're like moving towards their purpose. So it's like,
Yeah.
like when you're saying like girls like look good and stuff like that. It's like, well, they're probably like
on their game, they're on their shit.
like tapping in. That's
Yeah.
literally like where
You're
the
not gonna
podcast,
see-
like name
Yeah.
came from.
I'm all about, like, there's a reason why when I first moved into the city that I made sure that I was moving into Rittenhouse. Because that is the most wealthiest part of the city. And I wanted it to be where the wealth was. I wanted it to rub off on me. You know what I mean? I met a guy there, became friends with him. This dude was a millionaire, made money off of crypto, told me everything about trading cryptocurrency. Like, just because I put myself in a position to be able to bump into people who were rich
Yeah.
or had money. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
and that mentality back then, that's where I was at. I was thinking about I want to be wealthy. I wasn't really
Right.
thinking about you know what I
Fulfilled.
mean?
Yeah.
But just to goes to show you, I still manifested the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
of course.
just know how to do.
Well,
just
and
do
you
it right
learn
next time.
as you're like going into these
You're learning. I'm
situations.
learning.
Yeah.
Everything's the past.
like-
past is just one big lesson. You know?
I mean, it's like really
Yeah, a
all that
bunch
you
of
have is
lessons.
like now.
Yeah.
Honestly, but it's funny because like like I was like I technically still am a personal assistant to this one woman, in LA, and they're like very wealthy. Like they have things that I'm like, wait, we're getting on whose plane?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's cool to be like in private planes, on yachts, like seeing that lifestyle. It's good to know that exists. But since I've been in that, I'm like, okay, this is all great, but like, I don't just want to have
Yeah.
a nice car
Right.
and
I mean,
a boat
they don't go
and
with
a
you.
plane. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to, but like now I know that those things exist.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I know how
got a
it
feel for it.
feels.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now moving forward, like what am I trying to manifest for myself?
Yeah.
It's like I want to change like people's like lives,
Yeah.
really. You know, I want to make an impact. I want to like show you a new side to things. I want to teach you or educate you or like make you feel better.
And I say materials like aren't everything because they're really not. And to me personally, you know, everybody prioritizes different things, but I care about health. I care about happiness. You know, I care about my family. I
Right.
care about the people that, you know, really mean and matter to me, you know, and being successful. But,
Well,
you know,
that is success,
happiness
those things.
and success, happiness and success are, you know, completely different measuring sticks for everybody. You know, happy to you might be different than somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to be, you know, as happy as I could possibly be in whatever state that I'm currently in, you know, and healthy. That's all I want. That's all. So material, if you're doing things for the material or for the, you know, for the Gucci bag, if that's like a trophy to you or, you know, a pair of sneakers or whatever, you're missing so much more to life.
Well, like, no, maybe they're not, though. Like, that could be their, like, success. Like, you know
That
what I
could be
mean?
their
Yeah, that
success.
could be their.
Yeah, like,
design.
that's like the
crazy?
craziest
It was
part
it was
about
hard
it.
for me to.
It's crazy.
It was
Yeah.
hard for me to realize that too before, but like I kind of started to get that now. Like
Yeah.
that just might be what
That-
makes them happy. And if they're
yeah.
happy, that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, honestly, you're right.
Yeah,
That
you know?
that could be something that really
It
makes
is
them happy.
It's crazy, but crazy
Just
in
like
just
we
the
were-
way of being different.
Just like we started this episode talking about people who work like a typical 9 to 5, and they are very happy when the
Yeah.
weekend comes, and that's happiness to them,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
That they
maybe
get
No,
to-
that's what they
exactly.
want.
That's what- yeah,
I
like-
gotta start. I know.
that's
That's what
like
we talked
We
about.
talk about it a lot,
Exactly.
and like I've been trying to dial myself back, and like honestly, why am I worrying about other people? First of all, let me just worry about myself. You know what I mean? Make sure I'm
True,
happy.
true.
Everyone can do what they want as
Yeah.
long as they're happy. If they're happy, I'm happy. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, no,
That's it.
1,000%.
But like,
I mean, the only thing you literally have control over is you.
exactly.
Same thing with me. Same thing with you.
And you know,
But like, we all try to like control each other and like,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, people have a lot of things negatively to say about people or whatever,
Yeah.
you know. But
So going on, you know, you were talking about wanting to help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your website again?
Shopthefairygarden.com.
Shopthefairygarden.com. And on
Yeah.
there I saw there's a section about coaching and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I think we're going to get into this last bit on the episode. I want you to talk about what you can find on your website and what was that coaching section and stuff like that.
So, the coaching section is basically, I've worked with a couple clients so far, but this is not something that I don't put this out as probably much as I should, basically. But
Bang bang. Here we are.
so it's mindset coaching. So it's kind of like working one-on-one with clients to get a better idea of like what their success looks like or like what they think it looks like right now versus what like their heart or like their purest like truest self wants actually, like not what your mom wants, not what your dad wants, not what you
your friends think you should do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like what do you, if you could have anything and you could go anywhere and whatever, there was no limitations, like time and money didn't matter, what would your life look like? And then after we break that down, then we start like coming up with a plan of like first off why you deserve those things, because I think a lot of times people don't have a sense of like their own, like this is everything I bring to a table. Like I think a lot of times, especially women or girls or females, whatever you want to say, I think a lot of times, you know, we're taught like you can find a rich husband and like you'll have a family and you'll be a great mom. It's like, well, not everyone wants to be a mom and
Right.
not everyone wants to have a rich husband. Like maybe I am a rich husband. Like I don't know. Like so I think a lot of times with the coaching, another thing that I like try and work on is doing like personal inventory and like recognizing like how powerful like we are just as individuals. Like it works with guys too, obviously, but
So do people, if they inquire for this and they say They mentioned TTMN. Do they get 10% off or?
Yeah, we can do that.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that
saying?
works.
All you gotta
Yeah.
do is mention "Talk to me nice."
Yeah.
And they'll get 10% off the coaching session.
Yes.
That's fire.
Yeah, let's do that.
You know.
It's a great idea. It's like usually at least 6 weeks with like a 60 or 90-minute call a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Personalized.
then one-on-one. And then we
I know
kind
a lot of people who are like, you know, they want to do something, they want to get into something, but they're not really sure like
Right,
what.
yeah.
And they're kind of bouncing around different things. I think like, you know, doing that, hitting you up, you know, you guiding them. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that could be a good thing.
Yeah. The website has a lot of fun stuff on it. There's like a blog on there. My podcast is on there. The coaching is on there. There's like writing challenges I'll do sometimes. Because like I think
Like
our
journaling or something.
yeah. Like I always say that your pen is your magic wand. So like
Goes hand in hand with the fairy.
yeah. But it's
Me and
true.
Rob-
like
me
write
and
down
Rob
what
are
you
big on the
want.
planning and writing down the goals. and
Write
the
down your
lists.
goals, and like if you think about it, like we literally all learned from textbooks growing up. Like you,
Pen and paper. It's just
it's like history, you
been
know.
there
Like
for-
you, I
a long
have
time.
so many journals now, and I'll like look back in my journals, and it'll be like June 26, 2016, and I'm like, I want to go on set for a famous pop star, and then I'm like, I'm with Meghan Trainor, like
Yeah.
a year later, and I'm just like, do you
That's
see what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's literally, and then it's like exciting because you get to look back and you're like, that was my intention, that's what I wanted, and now today,
yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
you
what I'm
literally
doing.
wrote it
It's
down
important.
and
It's
it
a-
happened.
yeah,
It's
and then you
important.
can like celebrate yourself, and like,
It's important to write goals down, whether it's long term or short term.
I think writing is so
And
Powerful.
even if it's like a daily thing, like your
Every
planner,
day.
right? Because like I'll go back to my planner, and I'll see like, wow, maybe I didn't get all the things done I wanted to, you know, and then I might get a little hard on myself. I'm like, fuck, you know, I might have to do fucking more, you know. Like, come on, Rob, like you hold yourself accountable when you
Yeah.
write things down.
I try and write
Chair
every
squeakies.
day. Every day I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And I do like at least like 15 I ams. Like I'll just be like, all right, I am. And depending on the day, I like pick the things I am for that day.
Yeah,
It's a good
Same.
tool.
I'm not ready to let her slide out
I know.
this quick. It's she's our first female on this series on the Talk to Me Nice season. And look, you know, being the first woman, it's been all guys on the show. You know, we got to get into some other shit. So you work a lot, okay?
Coming from the
listen to me. This is
pulling
just
stuff out the bag right now. I don't even know where he got it. But
listen.
Let's see
I
it.
mean,
I love to see it. Oh shit! Oh no! The laptop's gonna shut down.
no, it's just like you work a lot, right? You're busy.
Yes.
You're on the move. You travel, right?
Yes.
She's in Philly one
Yeah.
day. She's in Los Angeles another day. She has her brands, Creative
Yeah.
Compete, Fairy Garden, the hair, this
She
and
does
that.
hair. She's a personal assistant.
Where do you ever find time for, even if you want to find time for, you know, a love life or a person or
Oh
a
my
guy?
God. Rob, I fall in love like 10 times a day.
Is Maura that person, or is Maura just strictly business? Is
No.
Maura, you know,
I
make
like
time?
love. But I literally like a couple weeks ago just came to the realization like I'm so single because like I choose it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like be like locked down with someone if they were like-minded in the sense that like they are working on their like goals and whatever they're like trying to create their life for themselves. But I don't know. I give time to people who I think deserve my time.
your time and energy. Yeah.
And then, but like I'm so quick to turn it off too.
Yeah.
Like I'm super quick to turn it on. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. If you asked my friends, they would be like, she's met her husband 2,000 times in the past like 4 years.
A lot of husbands, a lot of rings.
So
Quick to-
many
Quick
husbands.
to turn those messages off red.
Shut up.
Quick.
I lose interest, man. Like I kind
too.
of lose interest quick. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's because I want to be so invested in myself. I think I deserve it. or
Yeah, you do
have
deserve
I
it.
or have I just not yet to meet somebody that really sparks that? You know, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm open to anything. I just kind of go with the flow of things. That's what I like to do. I don't like to be forceful in things.
Yeah.
I
like
feel
to
like
just,
you know, like you just know.
Yeah.
It's a combination. For me, it's a combination of all kinds of things. It's like, yeah, I feel like I will want to know. Like, I should know, right? There's also the thing that's always in the back of my mind. It's like, if I get in a relationship, is it going to hurt me in me trying to level up? And I used to be so about, like, thinking that a relationship's just it's gonna hold me down. Like, it's
No.
gonna, but now I feel like that it's not. I think if you just find the right one, I think it might
Level
make it
you up
faster.
for sure.
You know?
That's what
could.
I always
But,
think about.
you know,
Everybody's different.
yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
like
all about just finding the right one, I guess. I don't know.
it's funny because I actually, while I was home this time, like saw one of the guys that's like, I'm like, maybe, but like I never like see guys. Like
Yeah.
if I see you in person, like I'll take your phone call, I'll take your FaceTime, I'll answer your text, whatever. But like if we're spending time, like that's usually, if we get to that point, it's like, okay, in that time, like I'll know what's good, kind of. And the guy that I saw while I was home this time, I was like, I'm never like physically like magnetized
Yeah.
to someone, and this time I was, and
time
I was
you are.
like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Different
so
feeling.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I actually wanted him to touch me. I'm like, usually I'm like, don't fucking touch me. Don't even look at me.
I'm heavy on, I got to be attracted, first of all. Like, first and foremost, you know, initially attraction has to be there, obviously, you know, but I'm just heavy on vibes lately. Heavy on vibes, heavy on the energy, heavy on, you know, what else do you bring to the
The
table?
work ethic.
Right.
I'm just heavy on what do you bring to the
Yeah.
to the table after we hook up, right? Because, like, say if we had sex and it's cool, you know, it could be so good, and that's fine. You're attracted
Great.
to each other, great. What else is coming with you? What else do you bring to the table? And I'm not talking like money,
No.
work.
No.
Like, just who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
do you
like
hold
to,
the door for strangers?
do you like to go to the clubs? Yeah. Do you say
Seriously.
thank you, or do you?
Right.
You talk shit on random people you don't even know.
Just
Right.
how are you as a person?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Well,
that
that's
Yeah.
like, I'm like so weird. Like, I've been like this for years, but I think hookup culture is such a big thing, you know, and it's
I think
like,
hooking up is trash.
and everyone's always like, you know, like, well, you do what you want. It's like, okay, you do what you want, but like, you just gave someone like the highest level of access to you, like, especially as a female, like you're just letting someone like legit enter your whole being.
I don't want to hook up with people because I feel like I don't want to be accessible to people like that. Like, I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to pop out somewhere and somebody's like, "Oh, he hooked up with me," or "He hooked up with my friend," or this, and this. I think it's a bad fucking look. Like, I feel like you have to move.
Like your future self.
Yeah.
And like, I just
Yeah.
don't. I just don't want to be popping around like, "Oh, I know what he's like." Or, nah. You know, it's casual.
Yeah.
Actually, that's just how I've been saying it. Casual. Everything is casual.
Because your future self is so elite.
I
It's
can
all-
have
if there's
female
no
friends and
access.
things could be regular, and, you know, it doesn't have to be about nothing. I'll have even, you know, some childhood friends that they'll be like, "Oh, that girl is into you, she's interested in you," or blah blah blah. Like, you're fucking crazy for not talking to her, bro. Like, what's the matter with you? And I'm like, you're just looking at her.
Right.
You're just looking at her. You don't know.
Right.
You don't really know her the way I
Well,
know
that's
her.
like the other thing too. I think is so cool is like when there's like a girl that's like not like a Maxim model, but then you like get to know her and you're like, dude, she's dope. And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, you don't have to be a 10 to be like that bitch. Okay, there's so much more than just what you look like.
It is.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, it's the energy you bring to a room. It's like the way you make people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, do you have other, like, the people around you feeling seen or like heard?
And you're not going to learn that with someone if you just hook up with them.
No.
You know, all the stuff that you said that, you know, what do you bring, that takes time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, quality time together.
Yeah.
Figuring out who they really are, you know?
Yep.
But you keep hooking up with people, like, you're not really going to know.
You're not gonna find.
No,
the
you're
time.
just
Yeah,
spreading-
You're just
you're-
wasting your time. and
wasting
other
Here's
people's
like,
time.
here's a tab, a key tab to my access to me. Here's a key tab.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm good.
I have friends who solely make the night about
A conquest.
getting with a girl or
Yeah.
hooking up with a girl or getting her number. Like, if that doesn't happen, they get a little aggravated, right? They might get frustrated. if they don't, bring a girl home, whatever. And whatever makes people happy, right? That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Whatever makes you happy, live your life. But to me, that's almost, backwards, because when I go out, I'm just happy to see people and be around my friends and, like, just have fun with them and just enjoy the company of being out. And then whatever happens, happens. I kind of find that, the guys or girls that move that way, might attract people more so than people who are aggressively trying to get something, You could almost tell. You could almost just tell, like, this person's just trying to hook up or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas I don't really give a fuck if anything happens.
Yeah.
I've hung out with girls and I don't have any expectations, I'm not disappointed if we don't hook up, and I don't really care. Like, it's just whatever, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like too, depending on like what's about to go down.
Yeah.
For the most part.
There's been times where I solely had no idea. no idea, and I don't like to put expectations on people. I think that's had to do a lot with just how I was raised. I think everybody is who they are today too with how they were raised.
Well, I mean, that's the foundation.
It's
a good foundation.
But you can also unlearn that.
You can unlearn it. I do think, whether it's for the good or for the bad.
Yeah.
Like, everything I want to do in life is for my mother. She sacrificed so much, and I didn't grow up with a father, so I know, what it takes to, I see single moms out there and their struggle, and, like, I get it. Like, I have so much respect for them, and, like, my mom sacrificed the social life and all this kind of stuff. And then the whole expectation thing, not having that with females moving forward, I guess I got from my father not being in my life, because there'd be times where he would contact me, call me when I was a young boy, like, you want to come with your dad this weekend? I'll pick you up after school on Friday, this, that, and the third. And then I would be so excited, right? Like, I'm a young boy. Yeah, I would love that,
Of course.
And then it would fall through almost every single time. And now, after having learned that at such a young age, that disappointment feel, why do I have to have expectations now for people? Right. I don't. Myself, maybe.
Yeah.
But... it's just crazy out here.
My mom is my why too.
Shit's crazy.
I feel like that's like such a good one to have.
Your mom?
Yeah, like
She's the goat.
Relate. Yeah. You're like I'm always like, you're my why. I'm like, everything I'm doing is for you, so that's relatable. I just
want to know that. I mean, my whole thing is, I feel successful now. Like, I really do. I have a great family. There's nothing else that I can possibly have that will, offset that, or like, would I place above that? I already feel like I won. You know what I mean? But now, like, everything I do, it's for them. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want my parents to work. I just want them to live the rest of their life, like, worry free, all that.
Right.
And that would be.
Yeah. Same thing. 'Cause that's really what matters.
That's what matters.
You could be in and out of relationships with women, with friends. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look around who's still in your life, and it's like, that's really what matters. That's really what's important.
Yeah.
But it's good having you on the season, Maura.
Thanks, guys.
No, this is a good one.
Episode 4, Create Over Compete. Thank you for being a part of this.
Yes,
the
thank
Fairy
you for
Garden,
having
go
me.
check it out. Go check the website.
You already know.
Shopfairygarden.com.
Shop the Fairy Garden.
Shop the Fairy Garden.
Fairy Garden was like $13,000. I was like,
you'll get it.
What do
You'll
you
get it
mean?
later. You'll get it later.
Yeah.
It's just chilling. You'll get it later.
I'm like, so that's that
know what
for
I mean?
now.
So.
Thank
Same
you
thing
again,
on
Maura.
Instagram.
Talking to
Thank
me
you.
nice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
nice.
guys.
Bye.
They've been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop. Whoa.
Yo, what's going on, Talk Nice Nation?
What's good?
And thank you for checking out today's episode.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Make sure you visit our website, TTMNbrand.com, where you'll find all upcoming announcements, our latest clothing drops, and future events.
Yes, sir. And also, for anyone interested in collabs or potential sponsors, hit our email at ttmnbrand@gmail.com.
That's right.
Let's get it.
Show you what these about. Whoa.